Hello, and welcome to today's edition of the Laws of Evil Speech. We're on Hilchos Rechilus, Klal Tes, Halacha Yud, that is chapter 9, number 10, and we're talking about situations where one is actually obligated to share bad information with his friends. So we learned all of the prohibitions that apply, that usually it's forbidden to say something evil about one's friends, but certain times it's a mitzvah to warn somebody so that he doesn't hurt himself or experience financial loss. Is actually a mitzvah to share negative information about somebody. And we're going to learn about another one of those cases. Since it's very easy to make a mistake in these matters, the Chavetz Chaim said earlier, and he says many times, that every time when we're thinking of sharing negative information, we have to weigh the scenario and understand properly if this is a situation where we should be sharing this negative information. So he says, since it's such a serious area, I'm going to give an example. I'm going to give some examples, and from these examples you can infer to other cases what the halacha should be. So he says, in order that it shouldn't be too arduous, too long, he says he's going to give one example now, and he's going to give other examples at the end of the book. If he sees He says, you have the following case. You have a friend who's a very innocent guy, a simple guy, and he doesn't know anything about, hello, shalom, thank you for joining us. He doesn't know anything about how to haggle. He doesn't know how to make a good business decision. He's just a simple guy. He goes and he pays whatever price is being set in the store. And you know that the owner of the store is not such an honest guy, and his whole life he waits to get this, sucker so that he can cheat him. Whether it's cheating him on the weights, he measures it wrong. I heard about a guy I know that worked in a fish store, and what they used to do is when you ordered an expensive fish, they would add a lot of paper when they weighed the fish to make it more expensive than it was, which is stealing. So this is the type of store owner we're talking about, a very dishonest person, and he's just trying to cheat people out of their money. So what does the Chavetz Chaim say? Your friend who's going into the store was a simple guy. You have to warn him and you have to tell him about it. That he shouldn't go into the store. Even if your friend already made a deal with the store owner that he's going to go and he's going to purchase stuff from him, if you know he's about to get cheated, you got to tell him, you got to warn him. And all the more so if you know the store owner explicitly he's planning on cheating him. Right? You hear him saying, "Oh yeah, this is the best product. It's the best. This is the best product in the world. Only the best quality." And you know that the store owner is lying to your friend. You have to tell your friend, or he's lying about the weight of it, or he's lying about the value, cheating him on the price. Right? I once met a store owner. He got he told me he got a certain musical instrument that cost him like $50, and he made some BS that it was some fancy instrument and sold it for a couple thousand, and this person fell for it. So that is a very bad thing to do, and if you know that this is the type of person you're dealing with, you have to tell the purchaser. You have to warn him. And you have to have all of the conditions, which we mentioned earlier. And if you want to listen to the conditions, know the conditions, go back to our class from yesterday, which is number 90. We mentioned those. He has a little note here that he's not 100% sure if, let's say the person, he's overcharging him by a little. In the halacha is, you're not supposed to overcharge somebody, but you only have to return the money if you overcharge somebody. If you overcharge somebody a sixth, and more than that, it could be more than that you can return the item. But if someone overcharges you less than a sixth, you're really not supposed to do that, but if you made the sale, then the sale is final. So he's not sure here. He says it could be that if this, store owner is only overcharging your friend less than a sixth of the value of the product, then you might not have to tell him. He writes down at the bottom. But in general, you see a store owner and he's going to cheat your friend, and you know your friend's a simple guy, he's not going to realize what's going on, you have to tell your friend. Now let's go to Halacha Yud Aleph, also on this topic. Now, we were just discussing when you see your friend, he wants to go into the store and he's about to get cheated. But what if he already got cheated? He already purchased his item and he got ripped off. So he says, then there's a difference. Now he says, if the scenario is that according to Torah law, even though this fellow got cheated, he's got no recourse. For example, the case that we just said, he was only overcharged less than a sixth, because if you go to court and you say, hey, this guy overcharged me, less than a sixth, it was $10 and he charged me $12. So, it wasn't a nice thing that he did, but the court is not going to make him pay you $12. Or even if he charged you more than a sixth, you don't have forever to return the product. The halacha is you only have the time to decide to return the product and for the time it takes to show a relative or another store owner to have him assess the value. So if you come a couple months later and you want to return something because you just realized you were cheated, the court isn't going to help you. Oshar Siba, or another reason, Shubiglala Hifsid Hama'ana, Bavadi Mishaholach Ma'ar La Hamisana Umareo Ich Shaploni Remeo over Al Isser Rechilus. So if that's the scenario, there's no recourse that your friend who shopped in the store could take, and you go and you tell him that he got cheated, that is Rechilus. That is prohibited to do. Because there's nothing he can do about it, and you're just telling him negative information with no practical purpose. If you remember, one of the conditions of speaking Rechilus or Lashon Hara is Toelos. It has to have a constructive purpose. And therefore it is Rechilus. Even if he asks you, your friend says, hey, did this guy cheat me? Lo ya'amar lo emes, you can't tell him the truth. He says, all the more so if you know that your friend, let's say, is going to go into the store and he's going to take some money out of the register because he feels he got cheated, for sure you can't tell your friend. Or he's not going to make the payments on the product because he feels he got cheated. You can't tell your friend. But it's all dependent whether your friend who went into the store and got cheated has halachic recourse to go and get his money back. And that's what the Chavetz Chaim says. But if you see that the halacha is with your friend, or perhaps there's a possibility that the store owner will make a return. Perhaps the store has a policy that you can always make returns. So then for sure you could tell him he could go return his product. Or, maybe there's a possibility the store owner will return what he overcharged him. Then you could tell him. But if you know, and in those scenarios where there's recourse for your friend who got cheated, then you can tell him. And there's going to be details which we are going to say tomorrow. So to learn the full scope of this halacha, please come back tomorrow, and we will discuss what conditions are needed when your friend purchased a product and he was cheated, and there's some halachic recourse that can be taken. Okay, hope everyone has a beautiful day, and I heard the sun is going to come out later. That's what I was told.